Hi, I'm Kathy Dodson.
And I'm Jocelyn Lindsay. And this is like the fifth time we've tried to record this episode. Welcome to another episode of 5 Minute Indie Insights, where today we're talking about Publisher Rocket. Because trying to publish without Publisher Rocket is like trying to win a game of darts in the dark. You might hit the board, but chances are you're going to miss the bullseye.
That's a really good point. Publisher Rocket is one of those things. It's a one-time cost, and then you get to use it forever. And there's so many different ways you can use it. This is the second time we're talking about Publisher Rocket, and each time we talk about completely different subjects. So today we're going to talk about categories in Publisher Rocket. So I am going to share my screen. We hope.
We hope. Wait a minute. That's me. There we go. Now you have the power.
Okay. There we go. All right. So let me get this out of the way. And here we are. So this is your main page of Publisher Rocket when you open it up. And this time we're going to go into categories. So let's talk a minute about categories because it's not just broad genre categories. We're talking about the super specific Amazon categories and subcategories. And every time you publish on KDP, you're going to need to pick 3 categories. And you're going to need to pick 3 for every format of book you have. So hardback, paperback, whatever. But the 2 you really need to, well, an audiobook, that's the new one now. So when you open this ad, you can see it has book, Kindle, Audible. You want to make sure that your Kindle book is only in Kindle category, and that your paperback is only a book category, and that your audiobook is in audio, because you want people to find your book. And there's categories is a big part of the algorithm Amazon uses to show people your book when they're searching for a book. So there's a couple different ways to do it. I'm going to start with Kindle. Don't read it on all because there's a lot of categories. If you read it up, it'll terrify you. So let's just pick a fantasy, right? So this is just the Kindle category. Can you imagine if we had the book and audio categories also?
Well, and I think one of the best things about Publisher Rocket, especially when you look at all of this, is Publisher Rocket gives you a data-driven approach to visibility and ranking, and it's not just praying that your book gets discovered. I mean, I think this really gives you the opportunity to look at how readers are looking for books and use that and not just be like spitting things onto the category page, because I see a lot of books that never even put categories.
Yeah, you definitely want to take advantage of it. So I've got something with a few left categories. I just give it fantasy, but I just wanted to share you why it's important to really kind of narrow it down from the beginning because it's just an overwhelming amount of data. And so let's start to look at what this page means. Well, these are the categories. So these are each subcategories in Amazon. You can list your book as a Kindle book in literature, fiction, women's fiction, mystery thriller, suspense, and then detective. And there's these little arrows when you're choosing your category in Amazon where you just go down each level until you find the level that you're in. You want to go down as far as you can because it'll pick up those levels above it, but it won't pick up the levels below it, right? So go down as far as you can. Now, let's just start out. We've got a list of the categories here. And then Publisher Rocket does something really nice for us. So these are selectable categories. Here's a ghost category. You don't want to be in a ghost category because they're not really sending people there. And then there's some categories that are duplicates. So this is so great. This category shows up more than once in KDP. And each instance placed to the same category page in the store. This category is often called mystery and detective, right? You go through that whole thing. Only choose one. Don't you choose duplicates. That's like throwing away an opportunity. You want to make sure that your 3 categories are really good. So let's look at the rest of the data they give us. Sales to number 1. Okay. In this category, you need to sell 9 books a day to get to number 1. And this one is 43, and this one is only 1. So if you're really interested in that Amazon bestseller, that's a title, then maybe you want to go for the one. But first and foremost, make sure your category fits. Because just because you choose it doesn't mean Amazon will put you there. Like they often change my book categories because they think that there are better places for it. So in the beginning, please go in and choose categories that really work for your book. And you're actually going to want to go look at these categories, right? And see and click on some of them and make sure that that is actually what your book is about. Do the covers match or do the blurbs match, things like that. So now we have to go back to Publisher Rocket. Okay, so sales to number 1, sales to number 10. Sometimes there's a really big drop off, like here, 352 to 67. So getting in the top 10 is really great. Not being number 1 in a category is not a terrible thing. Now here, there's a publisher. Does it traditionally published or not? And then is it listed in KU or not? Also, really important things to know. If 68% of the books in the category are listed in KU, make life easier on yourself and list your book in KU. That's where your readers are. Okay. Yep. That's an important thing. I'm going to skip insights for now and go to keyword. This is a nice little list that Publisher Rocket provides you for every single category that you can use to look out for your keyword. And there's a way to look those up in Publisher Rocket, put together phrases of all these different things. You can use it in ads. You can use it for a lot of different things. So don't ignore that. And then we look at insight, and it's just the overall information that they gave us in the other part. But then it gives you things like category growth. Sales are dropping in that. That's a very interesting thing. And it shows you trends and unique insights. This category is relatively average at the moment across Amazon metric. So use a general strategy with publishing here. And so they offer that information on every single category in Amazon, which is stunning because there are hundreds and hundreds.
Remember all the spreadsheets we had to track this stuff?
Yeah. And sometimes I still do. I think the best thing you can do is get in here and look at your category and look at the other books. And you can tell this category is completely different than the one I clicked on before, right?
Yeah.
Illustration and, it looks like kids stuff, rules, children, the mystery. You go learn about those categories. Don't just rely on Publisher Rocket, right. But this is a fast and easy tool to help you understand what's there. And this selectable duplicate and ghost is one of the most important things in here because you don't want to be in the ghost category. You don't want, to have duplicates in there when you're not getting the full power of the Amazon algorithm because it's counting one thing twice.
Yeah. And once you pick these, when you publish, you can come back in and change them again later. It's not one and done. You can come back. And like, if you find one of your categories is not working, that you can change it.
Definitely. And experiment with it. Change one at a time. See if it affects your sales. Do whatever. Because it is sometimes hard to find out where your readers are. This is a tool you can use to help you find your readers.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. And we'll come back to Publisher Rocket again, I'm sure.
That's really fine.
Yeah. And marketing shifts like we saw with the one you showed us on detectives, that market is slowing down. That doesn't mean your book has to slow its sales because that category is slowing. Find a category that your book fits into that it can still, that's maybe growing.
Right.
Yeah, there was one on kidnap. There was a category that maybe if it's not in just detectives, you could niche down into kidnapping if it's about kidnapping, or you're not stuck with it.
You're not at all. That's a really good point. And there's lots of tropes out there. Like one day, you may have a romance book with 10 tropes in it. One of them billionaire, one of them baby daddy, one of them mafia. And look at those, see how they're doing. Go look at those categories, see what books are there, see how hard it is to get to number 1, to get to number 10. And of course, find out what those keywords are that'll help you use it. Great tool.
Absolutely. And I try and look at my categories every 3-ish months. I just make it part of like taking your car in and getting the oil changed. It's just going at just the things that I try not to forget about and keep going on. So we have to find the ways to find our audience, and this is one of the ways. By taking control of your categories, you're giving your book the best chance in the world to be seen and sold. So
Yeah.
you're not guessing anymore. You get the opportunity to strategize with real data.
And because you're self-publishing, you get to control this, right? Because when you're not a publisher, you don't see any of this stuff. You have no control over your categories. Your publisher does. They're unlikely to go look at their categories every 3 months for every book they publish, right?
Yeah.
This is a real advantage to being a self-published author. Yeah, it's a little more work, but once you figure out how it works, it really becomes easier.
Absolutely. So, as always, if there's a tip or a trick that you know about Publisher Rocket and categories, we'd love to hear about it. Amazon is also always playing with how things are happening on the back end. So if there's something that you're confused about or don't understand, let us know. We'd love to have the opportunity to make a video about it and help other writers. So until next time, we will see you soon. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.